All right, welcome to Chalk Talk this week. This first play that I'm going to show you is on defense, and I'm going to show you a different front that they came out with this past week. It's a front that they've used before, but with a slight wrinkle. And first, I want you to understand what they're trying to do here. It's almost an eagle front, but we have the wide 9 player right here in Bradley Chubb. And if you notice, Waller is inside of him. That's by design. You're going to have this you want to line up in this kind of conflict here to try to put this man right here in a blender. So what are you trying to do? Well, any one of these 3 guys could come on this blitz, and you already have Jerome Baker in the B gap, right? So what they're trying to do on this side of the defensive formation is they want to press the B gap because they want to keep this man right here home. And what they're going to do is they're going to rush Chubb wide, but right on the shoulder of that tight end, Darren Waller, to have him chip. Because if he chips, it slows down the timing of his route, and it allows somebody to get back into coverage as the rush gets there. Now, that's not the whole design of this rush, but it's a byproduct of it, because wherever is the strong side of the formation is where you're going to rush the widest on to force a moment of pause for the tight end, because he's going to have to chip. Because since you're already occupying the B gap, this is a straight line right at the quarterback. So you have to chip him. So you're going to see that they're going to bring motion across. And that's going to force Miami to declare who's what. And Kohu is going to have Waller one-on-one. So that sets up this side of the formation. So what are they doing over here? This is a simple 2-by-1 on this tackle. And how are they gonna put this tackle into conflict? It's very simple. Since you have Sealer on the shoulder, on the outside shoulder of the center, he's gonna have to pick him up one-on-one, and this guard is gonna be conscious of Sealer shooting this A gap, so he might have to double. So that leaves 2 rushers for 1. Now, what are they gonna execute right here? I'll clean it up. What they're going to execute right here is that Wilkins is going to try to shoot the B gap, and then they're going to loop Andrew Van Ginkel right behind him. And since you're doing that, most 2-by-1s are 1 outside, 1 inside to put them into conflict. The rules for the offensive line are pretty simple here. He has to take the guy closest to the quarterback, which is Wilkins, which is going to allow Van Ginkel to break free, right? Now, how do you combat this if you're an offense? Well, you got to understand the front the Dolphins are in, and Danny Jones is probably going to have to move it back for a pass pro, and he's going to have to throw hot because there's just too many players in the box here on 3rd and 7 that could get home. So we're going to show it in slow motion so you can see the Dolphins execute this 2-by-1 rush. And I want you to watch right here with Wilkins. Presses the B, and then there's the stunt inside. Pressure in the face, has to throw hot. There's the tackle for 2-yard gain, 4th down. Now, let's watch it again, but from this side. Okay? And watch it on slow motion. And I want you to watch Jerome Baker, what he does here. He's lined up in the B gap, and he just takes a step, and that's going to hold the guard as Chubb goes wide. And if you notice, Waller had to chip him on the way out. See Waller? That slows down the timing of that route. And since he has to throw hot, he can't go to Waller hot he has to go to the front side as the rush is getting in. 2-yard gain on 3rd and 7. Dolphins are off the field. Now we're going to watch the same play, but for the coverage. And they line up in what looks like match, but you're going to see how they handle the motion across the formation and how the communication is just perfectly sublime. As far as their coverage, it's middle of the field open, and you could tell by the leverage right here. Like a good quarterback is going to see this. He's going to see the inside. The outside foot pointing toward the inside, which kind of suggests the leverage. You could kind of see Eli Apple giving it up a little bit right here as well. But we're just going to run this so you could see how they pass off this motion on this coverage. And it looks like it's shell too. Looks like man, right? And they're trying to put Justin Bethel in conflict to go across the formation to create space right here. This is actually a concept that the Dolphins run. But I want you to see Justin Bethel and Xavier Howard communicate on this play, and perfectly covered. Xavier Howard actually tries to get 2 guys at once, but there's the coverage. It's middle of the field open, and it is match man. Very well covered. Throws hot, rally, and tackle. All right, this is the first play of the game, and there's so much going on here. It was one of the best play designs I've seen. They're going to bring Waddle across the formation and give this 4-by-1 look. And what they're going to do is Waddle's going to end up here, and they're going to fake the handoff going this way as HN takes the handoff coming outside. Now, what are they going to do? They're going to release the center. They're going to seal backside with Robert Hunt. Austin Jackson has the snatch and release downfield. And he actually gets this far downfield, by the way. And you're going to have Tyreek Hill seal frontside backer as Ingold does like a little pirouette and is the lead on this toss play. Does that look complicated? It's much more complicated to actually pull off, but we're going to run it right here so you can see it. And we're running it in slow motion. And now you have that 4-by-1 look. And by having that and it's not really a 4-by-1 look because Jalen Waddle is in the backfield, but you get the drift. There's 4 eligible players to one side of the formation, to the field side. And the Giants actually keep the integrity of their defense, which kind of suggests zone. So that's actually going to hurt them in the design of the run play because they're not going to have the bodies to attack this. But let's watch it. Look at that action, and look at Austin Jackson do his little snatch and release as Connor Williams comes around to get onto the lead, and as Alec Ingold is doing his little pirouette to get out in front of Achane, who is coming all the way around the formation. And let's watch it. And there you have Austin Jackson releasing, picks up 1 block. Connor Williams flushes him out. Kendall Lamb is coming all the way across the formation to pick up a block. And that's a 24-yard gain. And now we're going to watch the same play from behind the play. So you can see all the action that's occurring around right here. In fact, I'm going to draw it up for you so you could understand. Austin Jackson is going to do his little snatch and release as they're blocking down. Waddle has his play action or his run action right here as HN is coming around. Does this look complicated so far? As Hunt's going to seal, Engel is going to pirouette to try to time this. It's like a counter action to time this to get out in front of the play, as Connor Williams is going to join him in what looks like a counter tray action. So we're going to clean this all up, and we're just going to run the play so you could see it executed. At full speed, 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 24 yards. All right, this is a simple outside zone. It's perfectly executed, and HN takes care of the rest. What you're trying to accomplish here is that you're going to release the uncovered lineman to the second level. You try to get a seal right here and a kick out right here. And you're essentially trying to get HN right off of his hip where he's lined up. He's going to either press or he's running to this hole. And depending on what they do here on the edge, if they crash down, you have outside zone. If they stay true with their defensive integrity, you could run inside of him. Now, this is just perfectly executed, especially by Kendall Lamb, Connor Williams. And I want you to notice how the uncovered linemen release. This is something that the Dolphins are putting on tape, and teams are going to get a little bit wiser to it. Problem is, you can't cover every single offensive lineman unless you're going to play 5 men across or play a bear front. So, and of course, if you play a bear front, Tua just throw it over your head for 60 and 70-yard touchdowns. So, we're just going to run this play so you can see how it's perfectly executed by just great blocking by the entire left side of the line. And I want you to also watch the work by Austin Jackson over here. And we're having it in slow motion so you can see all the execution. Here's the motion. Look at Austin Jackson release. And he's going to try to get the backside cut off. Okay? Try to delay that. And then just release downfield. But look at Connor Williams. He's on to his man. Look at Kendall Lamb. And look at the kick out by Durham Smythe. All perfect. This is good execution. That's just perfect right there. He's untouched. Maybe he got touched right there. HN does the rest. Let's finish watching this. Touchdown. Now, you remember the defensive play I showed you in that front? This is a true Eagle front. As you can see, head up, head up, head up. Although it's kind of shade. But they're actually going to do the same thing they did earlier in the game, but they're going to reverse it. This time, Baker's going to press on the opposite side of the formation. And that's going to cause the tackle on this side to pinch, which is going to allow a free rusher. As, of course, Wilkins is going to occupy the center. Now, what are they doing on this side? The same exact thing that they did earlier in the game. They're going to have Sealer shoot for this B gap as Chubb follows him inside. Now, let's watch the execution of this play in slow motion. They get damn near identical results as they got earlier in the game. It's the same exact front, but completely reversed. And oddly enough, the Giants' adjustment to this is to release the back, which is bad news. And they have a convergence on the quarterback. Now, this is the play that supposedly Tua called on his own. Now, what did they actually have working right here? Well, first you got to start by the front. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 confirmed in the box. A possible 5th, but you know that HN on this play actually is going to run a little out route not a flare, which is usually what they do. They run a flare, it's going to open up this guy, which kind of impedes Tyreek's route if he's going to release inside. So they press him by moving him up the field and out, which is going to bring this guy out and in, and not have him impede an inside release by Tyreek Hill. Now we know Tyreek Hill is releasing outside on the go. On this side, you have Berrios working some type of double move. It's going to open up the field. And you have Waddle working the dig, as the tight end, Smythe, is working on the out. Now, what kind of coverage are the Giants in? Well, it looks like cover 3 on the face of it. But since the Dolphins have 11 personnel, and they have bump man on the play side, they have a man over top. This is precisely the same coverage the Patriots used in week 2 to try to limit the deep shots. The problem here is they actually widen the short zone defender, and this guy right here is conscious of keeping middle of the field closed, so he's trying to play leverage against this dig by Waddle, which gives him enough space for Tyreek Hill to work deep, and the safety is just too late to get over. By the way, when's the last time you've seen a safety line up 22 yards from the line of scrimmage? Watch this play and watch the execution of it. Especially watch this guy as he's coming up, and then look how he declares. He's trying to pinch to kill that dig, and they're conscious of Achane on the out. And Tyreek just runs right past all of them. Now this is a simple split zone play. They're going to bring this man across the formation, which ideally will move guys one gap over, which should allow leverage for the offensive line to run their split zone play. But that's not precisely what actually happens. What happens is they're going to end up with numbers on the split zone, and all they're going to do is they're going to try to climb to get the backside backer, but what they're going to do instead is they're going to run their split zone, and the only man unaccounted for is the safety. So your back and the safety are going to meet in the hole because you have your numbers. Let's run the motion so we could see and stop it. As you can see, it's key that Austin Jackson can get this man one-on-one. It's also key that Robert Hunt can handle a 3-tech by himself. But Connor Williams is going to try to just clean this up to open up the space for Mostert to work, as they also have great work here on the other 3-tech, as Kendall Lamb is actually going to release. And this is just perfect execution on this play. And stop it. It's a safety, and it's Mostert. And if the safety can't make this tackle in the hole, Mostert could have a big one. Makes a miss, and he's gone. And only the deep safety, who's being held by formation and by personnel, is there to make the tackle. Let's watch it again. Could have been better if Connor Williams can get right here and then release on 24? Absolutely. But it's imperative that you defeat this side of the formation, because you're essentially isolating your back with the force player, which in this case is the safety. That's how you take advantage of a light box. Let me get back to the beginning. And as you can see, you could count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 8, but it's not, because this man's going to vacate. You have the safety up. You have the deep man. You have the linebacker. So and it's essentially 6-man box. As Simmons is in coverage, he's a coverage player. Let's run it one last time so you can see in full speed. Makes one man miss. And only the deep safety can make the tackle. Now this is one of the better looking run plays that they had on this day, and it only goes for 6 yards. But I want you to understand what they're actually going to do here. They're running essentially into the B gap, or you can call this 26, power 26. Power 24 is more likely, so we'll call this power 24. And what are the Dolphins actually going to do here? They're actually releasing the tight end that's on the edge player, as he's going to try to come down. Austin Jackson's going to try to come down. They're trusting Robert Hunt to handle this defensive tackle, and they're just creating a wedge right here. Let's clean this up. Now you're thinking, how are you going to leave 55 to get up to the field, make the tackle, right? Well, they're bringing Julian Hill across the formation, and he's going to have the contain. So it's essentially a wham block run across the formation while releasing the entire right side of your offensive line and your tight end. This is perfect execution. I will show it to you here. And I want you to see the work from Durham Smythe and Austin Jackson. These two guys over here. Look at Julian Hill come across. Bam, he hits his. Austin Jackson gets his block. Actually gets a seal. And it's a 6-yard gain. Perfectly executed.